Hey guys, what's up? We are back with another Monsterverse comparison video, and this one will be all about the comparison between Toho's 2016 Shin Gojira and Monsterverse 2019 Godzilla. We will include stats like size, powers, speed, agility, other abilities and even evolution. Being a fan of the idea of Godzilla itself, I can't really say which one will win in a fight since both of them have their own ups and downs. But what I can say is that you will have a profound idea about all there is to know about both of these magnificent incarnations of the Big G. So before you continue on with this video, be sure to like, share and subscribe for more related content, and also check out our channel as we have more than 70 videos, and oh yeah, do smash the notification bell for regular updates. So let us get on with this video showcasing to you the comparison of 2016 Shin Gojira versus Monsterverse 2019 Godzilla. Origins. Monsterverse Godzilla is explained to be an ancient life form from the Permian period. As the planet cooled and its natural atmospheric radiation began to decrease, he adapted to survive various extinction events by diving deep into the ocean and consuming the planet's natural geothermal radiation in a hibernation-like state from its molten core until 1954, when a nuclear submarine woke him up. Whereas in Shin Godzilla, Godzilla is not far from nuclear origins. Godzilla is not born out of the dropping of a nuclear bomb, but rather out of nuclear waste dumped in the sea. Godzilla, like most monsters if not all, is a monster that humans make directly or indirectly. We later learn that it was created when a marine animal consumes nuclear waste dumped by the US in the sea. Once again, nuclear waste and victims lie at the origin of Godzilla. Design. For the Monsterverse incarnation of the character, his face is shaped very squarely, with a broad neck, and possesses gills that enable him to stay underwater indefinitely. His eyes are yellow colored and his teeth are small. His nostrils bear more separate than the other previous incarnations, with them being in opposite sides of the snout. Godzilla's head and neck design seem to lean forward more than any of his previous designs. His dorsal plates are smaller than the previous designs, but they still retain the core maple leaf shape. In Shin Gojira, his fourth and primary form is reddish and considerably taller than the others, and draws heavily on the appearance of Shodai Goji, featuring a rounded head with small beady eyes and dark bumpy skin. Godzilla's fourth form possesses a larger, black maple leaf shaped dorsal plates which run up from the top of his neck. The middle row of the plates is larger than the others and is flanked on both sides by at least two smaller rows. Size. Legendary confirmed that their 2019 Godzilla's tail is 582 feet long. His height is taller at 393 feet tall. There are exactly 89 dorsal plates running down on his back, and the palm of his hands are 34 feet and 4 inches each, and that his roar can be heard from 3 miles away, loud enough to make an opponent go deaf. This incarnation of Godzilla is the heaviest and biggest live-action version, weighing almost 100,000 tons. Shin Gojira has 5 forms in total. The second was 28 meters tall, 122 meters long, and weighed 150 tons. Its third form was bigger at 57 meters tall, 168 meters long, and weighed 15,500 tons. Shin Gojira's fourth form was both the heaviest Toho Godzilla, weighing 92,000 metric tons, and is the longest, with a total body length of 333 meters or 1,000 feet long, and a height of 118.5 meters or almost 400 feet tall. Next we have evolution. While retaining the same basic design as his 2014 appearance, Godzilla received a slight revamp for the King of the Monsters, with his dorsal plates changing in shape. Instead of being jagged and straighter in design, the new design features more protrusions. The 3 large central dorsal plates running from the midway down his back are the same shape as the original Godzilla's dorsal plates. The claws on his toes are also longer and curved. His skin is rougher in texture. The tip of his tail is also more rounded. Also, his eye color is now red-orange, but it also changes when he uses his atomic powers, becoming bright blue or yellow-orange, much like his attacks. Shin Gojira's appearance changes multiple times over the course of the film due to the creature's incredible evolutionary capacity. The first form only shows its tail during the beginning of the movie. It's large and very much resembles the second form's tail in regards to aesthetics, being yellow-hued with a frayed end. The first form did not have the physical nor physiological conditions to withstand being on land. The second form is very much reminiscent of a moray eel or a frilled shark, having a long body, neck and tail, while also possessing stubby, underdeveloped hind legs for land movement, and stubs on its chest that are shown to be underdeveloped arms. The third form is bipedal, with stronger, more developed hind limbs and the ability to assume a stance much like modern Godzilla, possessing small forelimbs and a long neck in relation to its body. The fourth and final form of Godzilla is very much akin to other traditional designs, being fully bipedal with a fully developed row of dorsal spines and a much taller height in comparison to his prior forms. The shade of skin for this form is much darker black in color with red, glowing highlights around exposed areas of the body such as his neck, back and legs. Physical abilities. Godzilla of the Monsterverse is freaking awesome as a lean, mean fighting machine. He can make short sprints as seen when he was fighting King Ghidorah, and given his size and the surrounding buildings he passed by during his short run, he would have reached speeds of more than 200 km per hour. Underwater, he can outswim most modern day warships as he was stated to be swimming at speeds of over 40 knots. Monsterverse Godzilla was also pretty agile for his size, as we can see him fighting use all of his four limbs and also a tail swipe. This version of the G-Man acts like he has been under training with Mr. Miyagi. Going to the other corner though, Shin Gojira in his fourth form was slow and sluggish in his movements. He was seen moving at a snail's pace throughout the movie in his fourth form. One can't say anything about how flexible he is, or if he can even use his limbs in a battle against another monster, but his third form can swim pretty well as his earlier forms, but the fourth one seems to be entirely terrestrial in nature, although I believe he could dive in for a swim if he wanted to. Godzilla is able to physically alter his body and methods of attack based on his aggressors as well as personal necessities. Next factor, intelligence. If Monsterverse Godzilla was real, he'd be one of the most intelligent creatures on the planet. This Godzilla thinks and strategizes in mid-combat with massive payoff. He is able to calculate the exact position of the male muta's location to get him with a direct final blow tail strike, and uses some fighting techniques created by human beings. Godzilla is also able to express massive amounts of emotion, with very few animals being able to do so. He can appear exhausted, angry, determined, and even be determined enough to stay alive and become Burning Godzilla to kill Ghidorah later on. Shin Gojira, rather than being openly heroic, antagonistic, or some shade of grey in between, in this movie he is outright detached from everything in the world emotionally. With this, he shows no outright intentional hostile expressions. It is possible that this Godzilla is a mindless force of destruction. Gojira's zombie-like demeanor is only broken when bunker buster bombs drop on his back, physically harming him. Godzilla also displayed some intelligence as it reserved some energy in order to surprise attack the squadron of Japanese workers who attempted to inject it with a coagulant. Next comes durability. What is the maximum hit or damage Monsterverse Godzilla can take? Well, he was dropped from the upper atmosphere like a bomb, only to rise up again and defeat King Ghidorah in his burning form. He can also withstand conventional weapons fire during tank fire and missile barrages. One unique aspect is that instead of being destroyed by nuclear weapons, he can in fact absorb the power to himself and become even stronger. Shin Gojira's regenerative abilities, however, prove to be the most potent, that any pieces of his flesh can break off in bodily parts grew to starfish-like creatures. This enables him to reproduce asexually through either fission or even self-mutilation. Godzilla is also immune to virtually any conventional weaponry, barely seeming to notice when he is attacked. However, massive ordnance penetrator bombs that struck Godzilla directly on his exposed back were able to injure him and cause him to bleed, albeit the loss of blood didn't seem to impact his performance. Second last, powers. As if an indestructible height, massive intellect, and raw power are bad enough, Godzilla has another secret weapon that makes every other attack weak in comparison: his iconic atomic breath. Godzilla uses his atomic breath in combat more frequently against King Ghidorah, although it is still not his primary and most powerful attack. Godzilla utilizes a more powerful version of the attack in his final battle with King Ghidorah in Boston. But then, after absorbing Mothra's energy, in addition to the nuclear energy already absorbed from a thermonuclear explosion, he became Burning Godzilla, and in this form, he annihilates the false king with 2 nuclear pulses, which are equivalent of hydrogen bomb explosions. In Shin Gojira, Godzilla's atomic breath changes according to how he uses it and indicates how much power he has used up on firing it. It starts with a super thermal flame, and it later develops into an atomic ray that resembles a focused purple energy beam that Godzilla spews out, and the effect of it has overwhelming destructive power that does not simply crumble nearby buildings but is powerful enough to slice through multiple skyscrapers on a whim. Godzilla can fire a volley of atomic rays from his dorsal plates. This lasts for quite a while before he transfers the energy back into his mouth and the tip of his tail. Finally, enemies and battles. Monsterverse Godzilla has a lot of opponents under his feet. His first win, chronologically, was against the Shinomura. He then fought against the male and female Mutos in 2014, and then a bit later in the same year, he defeated Muto Prime. And in the last battle, he fought several times against the alien three-headed dragon titan called Ghidorah, until he finally won against him in Boston. Of course, his next fight will be against another titan called Kong, which would become a 2-on-1 fight against Mechagodzilla in the end. Shin Gojira, however, has had no battles with other gigantic monsters in this universe, and the only opponents he has been against was the Japanese and the United States military. Paying respect to the original Godzilla, this one was also set against the human population of Japan as a monster born from nuclear waste. So even though he doesn't have the impressive kill count of Monsterverse Godzilla, he is still battle-hardy enough against humanity. But then again, he was defeated by them. But so was Monsterverse Godzilla when you think about it, when he was hit by the Oxygen Destroyer. Anyway, we have come to the end of the video, and it is up to you to battle it out in the comment section on which one will win if they were ever pitched against each other in battle. Monsterverse Godzilla has the advantage of size, albeit a small one, durability, agility, and a nuclear pulse. But those could still not be enough against Shin Gojira's laser-like atomic breath and his spinal blast, as well as his tail beam. Shin Godzilla is also able to physically alter his body and methods of attack based on his aggressors, so the winner of this fight is still in the air. Anyway, subscribe and yeah, hit that notification bell.